I mean, I think this team, more than others, has just impressed so much so far. What's on, guys? J-Hoy back with you. Today, welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It is time for CDL Major number 2, presented by OpTic Texas, at home in the OpTic Arena. And we got a spicy one, and mainly because OpTic is starting in the losers bracket after only winning one match versus the LA Gorilla Mates. So not ideal. Obviously, if you watched our last video, we also know OpTic coming to this event with a new roster. Sky's in for Kenny, and they're starting in the losers bracket. So that's not where we want to be, but here we are. As we enter into this bracket, we're going to kind of keep this nice, short, sweet, to the point. You know, we're going to have time to break down, some of these matches, but sometimes not. So right now, we're going to go nice and quick. So in this one, first matchup, LA Thieves, Boston Breach. I'm predicting 3-0, right? No question about it. I'm feeling the Thieves. I got to change the color. We're going to go Thieves in the first matchup versus the Breach. Then Boston comes down here, and we're going to use the team names, if I remember correctly here. So Breach drop down. Then we have the Roll Ravens versus the Seattle Surge. And actually, Vancouver Surge, did I say Seattle? I think I did. Vancouver Surge, one of those teams that has been impressing a lot recently. But also the Carolina Roll Ravens have been one of our more dominant teams so far. Not necessarily so dominant, but definitely a good, solid team. Especially going back to the last major. They took out OpTic. They just looked incredible, right? They've been doing very well ever since that moment. Surge has been there, right? They came, runners up or whatever it was in our last, was it the minor tournament they did? I don't remember. But in this case, we're going to take the Ravens. I feel like they've just been better overall throughout the entirety of Major 2. So we'll see how that is. Now, Surge, on the other hand, definitely going to make some noise in the losers bracket. So let's put them down there. We're doing it live, folks. That's for sure. And put those guys down there. Beautiful. Next matchup, we have Faze versus Rokkr. Not to just make it so plain and cut and dry, you have the top seeds winning this one. But right now, I just feel like the top teams are the top teams. Like, that's very hard to, kind of undermine that these teams have been doing very well. Actually, I missed one. I meant to put that as Faze and not as the Ultra, but that does spoil our next pick as well, with the Ultra being in there, right? I feel just, again, they've just been a better team. On paper, they don't really look like it, but at the same time, they've been doing it, right? I can't really say, much of anything. They've been doing it. So that does bring the Breach, Surge, Rokkr, and Cloud9 New York down to the elimination bracket, where, of course, already being in winners bracket round 2, we got to catch up with the elimination bracket side. So we have Breach versus Heretics. Breach, one of those teams that just don't look really good, but they don't look really bad. They just kind of look in the middle. But this one, I'm always feeling some Heretics, right? That's always a solid bet, just given that they always have the underdog ability to win matchups and to play top teams so closely that you can never really super doubt them out. But of course, there's also days where they just don't look great. So in this one, we're going to pick Heretics to move on, and we're just going to give Surge the win here because, they're facing Falcons. And yeah, next matchup. Let's do the last one first. Cloud9 New York versus the LA Gorilla Mates. I mean, this one, I'm going to go with Cloud9 New York, just given that they've actually done decent so far. I mean, they've had their struggles, but so far just look better. Now this one, right? I want to mainly put my bias in, right? OpTic. I'm OpTic, right? You guys know that. But at the same time, they were 0-18 to start the Major 2 qualifiers. Then they entered in the final match where they only beat the LA Gorilla Mates. So it's very difficult to be like, oh, they're going to make a loser's bracket run. Like, no question about it. Because they have a new roster, right? They have Skies in. with Rokkr, man, I don't want to just count them out, but at the same time, like, you don't know how they're going to show up. So, in my opinion, does OpTic have the talent to win? Yes. Is the talent there? Of course. But do they have it enough where they can beat the likes of Rokkr? Or in the next matchup, could they beat Cloud9 New York? Or could they make a run in the elimination bracket? I'm not so sure. So, in this one, we're going to kind of hope for some good luck here and put OpTic onto the second round. Now, unlike usual, where I just put them, later in the tournament no matter what, we're going to kind of be a little bit more realistic in this one. Obviously, they've been struggling. So next matchup, we have Heretics versus Surge. Again, one of those good matchups that could go either way. But in this one, we're going to go the Surge, if I can spell it right. There it is. Surge, gonna win this one. We're gonna have them, I'd say, in a pretty good spot for how they've been doing, right? I feel like they've been a little bit better than, some people would think. Then the next matchup, right? That's where, again, OpTic versus Cloud9 New York. I feel like if they were to make a run, they have to beat these two teams, right? They have to beat C9 New York, they have to beat Rokkr, then they have to beat Cloud9 New York. And in this case, I'm going to put them elimination bracket round 3. However, let's jump up to the top side. So we have Thieves versus Ravens. Thieves have been incredible, right? So top goes to the bottom. So Ravens would be here. So we're going to put them there, right? So top goes to the bottom. And then Faze and Ultra. Loser would go here. Thieves have just been incredible. Like, I don't even know what to describe them as. They've been incredible. They've been doing it. They've been top. They've been dominating. Very hard to not put them, late in this tournament for sure. Faze Ultra, that could be a toss-up. I guess I'm gonna go with. Is this considered the upset? I guess not really, but they're both solid teams. But let's go Ultra in this one. Dropping down, I should say, or no. I guess I meant to put Faze there, but you know what? Let's go with Faze. In that matchup. So. We got to update the end here. Thieves. And who do we got? And no, that's not what I want to do. And Faze. There we go. No, not Phaser. Faze. There we go. All right. So then Faze moves on. Thieves move on. And then this is where it could get interesting, right? So if OpTic were actually doing decent and they just had a rough start, maybe I'd say, oh, they might have a chance. But I can't, in all good conscience, be like, oh yeah, I feel confident here, because I don't. Like, realistically, I don't. Until they show me something else, that's where I'm going to see them, right? I feel like whatever we see at Major 2 is the starting point with this new roster. With Skies, hopefully things turn around and change, and, after they get time to scrim and learn systems and fix whatever issues they've been having, that they can move on and get better for Major 3. But for now, I can't see them, placing high right now. I really can't. Next matchup, Surge and Ultra. Both two solid teams. Both more than worthy of being in this spot. But I feel like Ultra have just had that edge recently where we're going to put them on to the next matchup. Then we're down to Thieves and Faze, Ultra and Ravens. I mean, I think it'd be very confident in saying Thieves will be in the finals. Whether that's, an upset victory and make it through losers, or from the top side in the winner's bracket, I feel like Thieves have to be there. They've been way too good this stage to not be there. Now, do they have an off series and maybe drop down? Maybe, but I can't see them doing that, right? They've just been too good recently. That would drop Faze down. This one, I mean, obviously two of our top teams. We're going to, I guess, pick an upset. Is this an upset? I guess it kind of is, but we're going to go with a little upset there. Ravens, a little off-center. Does it really matter? Not really. And then our finals, take a pick, flip a coin, whatever you want to pick. Let's pick Faze, just because really hard to not have them there. So that's going to be my bracket, right? Going forward into Major 2, this is going to be our bracket, our predictions, and we're going to see how this ends up, right? just overall storylines. Obviously, OpTic, not where they should be. New roster. Hopefully that's a shock to the system, because anyone that's scouting OpTic for the tournament or knowing how they play, now they kind of have to rethink some things, because, of course, now they have a new player. They might have switched some stuff up. They might have been trying different stuff, different maps, different map vetoes, different picks, different roles, different whatever. Now you got to think about that. So if you're Rokkr in this case and you're going into that first matchup with them, things could change from how your kind of pre-scout turns out, and everything could change. So I'd love to put OpTic into the finals and in, elimination bracket round 4, or the losers finals or whatever. But realistically, if OpTic can get past the first matchup, I feel like they win the second matchup, but then they're going to run into either Ravens or Faze or Thieves. And I feel like either way, they're going to lose this matchup here, just giving off recent success, right? I hate to do that, but also got to be a little bit more realistic, because a lot of times I just put pure bias in these, and, of course, not really that accurate. So I'm going to stick with this. This is going to be our predictions for the Major. I know I'm recording it before the Major, but it's going to come out on Friday with the matches already going on. So I don't know the results right now, but of course, as you guys are watching this, you guys will know at least some of the matches to start off. But either way, guys, let me know of your thoughts, predictions, and comments about this upcoming tournament. I know we talked about it before, OpTic roster change. How do you think that's going to be? Like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.